Hello and welcome to day 5 of the summer tour vlog. So today was a good day, an interesting one. Set out in the morning for open training at the Chicago Fire training ground, which was in one direction. Got out there, got a bit of training, got to see them maybe a little bit more than last time, but not by much. Didn't get to see much by way of the tactics and things like that or anything as you would expect. You're not going to see that. Um, However, I would say that one of the things you'll see it in the clip, and I've got some post thoughts on all of this. But there were some things that are really notable, and what I really want to highlight about today and the vlog is, obviously there's been transfer stuff and this and that, and that's all grand. We buy any striker, there's still 23, 24 other players on that pitch. 23, 24 other players in that squad. 10 other players on the pitch at any given time to that striker. This whole thing about the environment, this whole thing about the togetherness of the team, this whole thing about the squad, the unit, everybody pushing together, all of that, all of that. It's so easy to look at it and write it off and say, nah, doesn't matter. It's not that important. It's just noise. Let's see them win some games and things like that. But it means so much more than you can imagine. And I get people getting into things and talking about, well, who cares? Kane and Skulls didn't like each other or whatever the hell people will say, right? The difference you had back then is it was already successful. You already had a team. You already had a squad. You already had some success. You also had essentially a god ruling that dressing room, which was Sir Alex. And there was a rule for everybody, and it was Sir Alex. That hasn't been there for a long time. And no, this isn't the same as it's been every single year. This isn't the same as it's been for quite a long time. I said many times over the years and the last few years in my videos, if you watch them, I was not very positive on the dressing room. I was not very positive on the atmosphere. I was not very positive on the players, togetherness, on do they even like each other? Do they spend time together? Do they see things the same way? Are they pushing in the same direction? Can they even socialize a little bit? There was a long, long time in this stretch, and I've spoken about this before, where the players would, from my understanding of it, and I'm fairly positive on this, none of them really interacted. Bunch of strangers show up together, play some games, all go home, and that's it. That's not how you build an elite sport environment. That's not how you build any elite anything. Even in business and whatever, there's going to be team building that is significantly superior to that extremely casual and cold relationship. Well, it's improved, and it makes a big difference when you're talking about the things that happen on the pitch. Yes, there's the training. Yes, there's all of that, but it's understanding the other person, being able to communicate effectively in training that helps to create those instant actions, those I know what that person's doing, those speed of thought, those automations, the automaton, all of those things are a result of that environment and that ability between them to communicate and get on really well. And you'll see kind of in the clips, and I'll make some comments and things like that about that I recorded through the day. But to me, that is the thing that is going to make United better this season than they have been in a long time, and is going to make them a lot more watchable as well. I think it was the first day I did the vlog, maybe it was the first day I was actually fully here in Chicago, that I did it. I said that I met this guy on the street who was a Sporting fan who spoke about Bruno, spoke about Amarim, and he talked about how Amarim does this. Since that day, every conversation I've had has just backed that up. Everything that I've seen has just backed that up. So I believe it. I believe it's important. I believe it's vital, and I think it's something worth taking note of. So here's the clips from the day. That's a nice view from the training ground, the Chicago Fire training ground. Very nice. Some players coming out now. It's fucking hot. Just back in the room, taking a break now after the open training this morning. Couple little thoughts on that. Number one, you don't get to see a ton, so just bear that in mind. But the biggest thing that I guess I would note about the training and the squad right now, and kind of just where things are at, is that there's definitely like a really good atmosphere with the players. You can tell they all really get along. The group is really tight. I would say especially you notice it with Cunha being a new player coming in. Not really technically like knowing anybody. We don't have like a ton of Brazilians and things like that. But, being a new player, he's fit in like instantly right away. You can see his relationship with the team, with the squad, and especially with Bruno Fernandes. A couple moments I want to mention. One was at training. They're doing a rondo. Ugarte and Bruno are in the middle. Cunha messes up. Ugarte gets it. And Cunha's like, no, it wasn't me. Doesn't want to go in, like joking around, messing around, trying not to go into the rondo. And Bruno's yelling at him, get in there, get your ass in the rondo, grabbing him, but all in like really good fun. And so, they come across like really good friends already, like that they're really on the same page and just immediately part of the group. And I think that's a big thing, forming those bonds and relationships. That's what the tours and the preseason is all about, frankly. In addition, kind of a funny moment I witnessed the other day out in the street. Cunha with a bunch of the South American players and Dalo and some other players was going into like one of the shops. And I was walking by and they were going into one of the shops, and then you hear from the road, Cunha, like screaming, and you look and it's Bruno, and he's leaning out the front window, the front seat of a car. Shaw's in the back, a couple other players are in the back, driving by, and he's just yelling at him and like absolutely taking the piss out of him, like from the car as they're walking by and stuff. So clearly Bruno is a character, a real personality off the pitch as well, and somebody that's focused on, just having fun and being friendly and all that. Another thing noticed is just more with Bruno and as well. Now that they've been here a few days, when they're kind of walk through and there's United fans, Josh Xerxes will just kind of like grab Bruno, put his arm around him, and just like walk him through the crowd and like wave people off and all of that, like leave him alone. So anyway, they love Bruno. You can see why he's so important in the dressing room, why Emran wanted to keep him when you kind of witness these relationship things. I think that stuff's important. But yeah, just some thoughts. Otherwise, in training, everyone looks good. Everyone looks great. No Xerxes still. So probably not coming back during the tour. And Mbumo there, probably not going to play Wednesday, but maybe for Saturday. So we'll see. Players coming out for some of these activities.
Am I going to get in trouble? We're going to have a job when I go back. Guys, please be careful where we're standing. Yeah.
Andre being a manager for a game between Shaw, Rasmus, and some of the kids. So it's a little event here. You can see that they're still playing a game. Onana being the manager for Rasmus and Shaw here, working with some of the kids in the community. Seemed like they're having fun. Good save by Luke Shaw there. Oh, he's good. Let's see it. Yeah. Oh, defending from Shaw. Let's see that. Trying to keep up with the action.
Another tough game in the conditions. Yeah, I think a good game as well. I think Bournemouth are a really good side. So we're really looking forward to the game. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be tough. but this is what pre-season's for: tough games to build on fitness and to get us in peak condition for when we face Arsenal in the first game.
In terms of your own fitness, what are your expectations for this year? Obviously, given what happened last time around.
Yeah, I think last year was it was awful. It was not what I wouldn't wish it on anyone really. It was really tough for me, but I think I've got to put that behind me now. Focus on what's coming up. Focus on the future, and I think for me, my expectations are that I can stay fit and give the manager an option for whatever he may need.
A couple of new faces coming in as well. Is there a sense that this is like a kind of a breath of fresh air, like kind of a new start for everyone, given all that happened last season?
Yeah, no, of course. It's always nice to have new faces. And, they've been brilliant signings. They're brilliant players. They're going to add a lot to the group. I think not just on the pitch, but off the pitch in the group as well. They're very lively characters, which is always nice. But yeah, for me, the start of this pre-season, I already feel a different, kind of vibe in the group. From the ones that were here last season, it feels much more, energized, and much more. Of course, we know how bad last season was, but like I said, I think everyone's put that behind us now, and focus on making the environment as happy and as a good positive place that it can be, and I think that will help massively on the pitch too.
Part of this Premier League summer series. Yes, what do all the players make of this? How are they enjoying this?
Yeah, no, we love it. We love coming out to America. It's an amazing country, amazing fans, amazing people. So it's always a privilege for us to come here, enjoy the hot weather. We don't get a lot in Manchester, so it's nice, and we're really enjoying it, and we love doing it.
Luke, we spoke to you after the Europa League final, and you said you were sure after a long time at the club that Ruben Amorim was the right guy to take Manchester United back to the top. What is different about him? What about him makes you so sure of that?
No, I think his mentality, his demands. He's extremely tough on the group. I think, he leaves no stone unturned, and I think, there's no stragglers in this group anymore. I think everyone has to put the team first. He's made that very clear. I think, he's picking players on how he feels will be best for the team, and that's, his choice. And us as players, we're fully behind him and fully behind on his ideas and what he wants to implement in this team. And like I said, I think we feel like a real team, especially this pre-season. Since I've been back, the group is so together, and I think that's something that we need to keep to make us more of a family, and everyone all together, and we're all driving in the same direction.
A good friend of mine has said that you're world class at left-sided centre back and world class at left back. Are you training both of them positions in the Amorim system, or are you moving more towards that left centre back role as you get into the?
No, I don't know. I think that's a question for the boss, but I honestly don't mind. Obviously, I played left wing back before for England and stuff, and back in the days with Ollie and stuff. So I know that position well, but for me, it's about what the manager wants and what the team needs, and wherever the manager puts me. As long as I can stay fit, I'll always give everything I can for the team, and I feel like that's what I've always done.
Luke, what's the feeling like in the dressing room now? You spoke about how difficult it was for us last season, and that's in the past. There's two new faces in there, in Brian and Mateus now, a fresh feel. What's the mood like in there in terms of our aspirations for next season? How everyone's actually feeling in there to actually draw a line under last season and move on?
I think it sounds a bit stupid, but honestly, the mood and the atmosphere is really good.
Good interview from Shaw, reiterating a lot of the stuff that we've been hearing a lot about: improving the environment, about moving forward, about making sure everybody's on the same page, putting the season in the past and moving ahead with a fresh start for everybody, and saying we're not going to dwell on all the things that have happened the whole season, write it off, move on. But it's important when you start seeing everybody saying on the same time, hey, it's about the environment, it's about the team, it's about the group, it's about all of that, and that's getting better and better and better. So it's good to keep hearing that from everybody, because you hear it from one person, they might say it, but every player saying that, talking about the manager, reinforcing that idea, that's what we'd like to hear. So good words from Sean. Hopefully he can have a good season and help the team out this season as well. Okay, so there you have it. That was the day's vlog, the day's activity. Again, it's just there's a common theme, obviously, with everything that started from the moment I got here and the conversations that I've had. And again, that is the point of these summer tours. They're supposed to be bonding experiences, and I think that a lot of the tours in the past have been missing that human element, the feel good factor, the thing that needs to happen where what are you actually building? You're building a team. It's not just about time on the training ground together. It's about building a team. When you're traveling, doing these events, doing these things, getting closer to the community, building a team with them and doing all of that. I really think they've done a good job on this tour. The days I've been here, since Thursday of last week, in all the events, the ways that the players have gone out to interact with fans, with media, with things like that. I think it's been really good. I genuinely think across the board, there's a lot of things that are better. And I I think those things matter, and that's not just me saying it. Again, you guys know me. You watch my videos enough by now. I feel strongly about this stuff. I have for a long time about how important it is that these guys get along, that they're friendly, that all of that, and like the stories I told there, they're real things that I feel very happy to have been out here to see for myself because it's the stuff like that, the things you see with Bruno and Cunha and those interactions I spoke about that to me tell me that there's actually something happening here that wasn't there before. And the silly thing is, I'm not saying that means we're going to be winning the league, and that's that. But it it's the baseline that has to be in place for a team. There has to be a team. When there isn't, that's how we get these monumental collapses. That's how we get these inconsistencies. That's how we get the situation where we never know what United we're seeing, frankly, and what it's going to be like, and that there's no upwards trend. We're not seeing, hey, we've done this and it builds to 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 this, and we can actually add to it. We build up and then something just gets gutted out from underneath it. We can't do that anymore. We can't afford those resets anymore. These are the baselines that say at minimum, we have this. We have a team that plays together, that works together, that fights together, that like each other, and that are going to do something of note together. And at least there's that. Whatever happens, they've got each other's backs, and that they don't turn on each other the moment things are bad. Because it's easy to get along and just get along, but then you stop getting along the moment things get bad. You have to have a better standard than just getting along during the good times. You got to really get along in the good times. There's got to be serious connection. It's the things like watching Xerxes walk down the street with Bruno, and after days of being mobbed by fans, Xerxes just puts his arm around him, tucks him in close like a child, and walks him into the hotel to protect him from the mob of fans and things like that. It's just these things matter. I don't know, man. They matter. Otherwise, obviously, the transfer side of things, as I shared last week on Friday, in my video, first, before anybody else, the goalkeeper thing was starting to diminish as a possibility because we need to sell a goalkeeper in order to get another one in. That has to happen. They're not looking to buy Emi Martinez on a permanent, so of course that one's been dead. We knew that. I said that on Friday as well, because they're not going to bring in Emi Martinez alongside Onana. They don't want to do that. But they're still interested in potentially a young keeper. It's just they have to move somebody out, and right now nothing looks pretty imminent on that front, or even relatively likely on that front. And of course, Onana will be staying. Obviously, you're getting tons and tons of debate here on the striker front. Again, I shared what I knew in yesterday's video overnight, which was, of course, that, for my money, from what I can see, I believe Watkins would be the preferred option if they can get him. I think they have a reason to believe that they can get him for that lower price. I think they have a reason to feel confident about that, but they've got to do it. And I think they would like that because it's a lower fee. It's a more proven player. When you look at it and say, all right, 40 to 45 million for a guaranteed 10, 15 goals, easy. goes right in the dressing room, all of that. Šeško, more risky, potentially more upside. I don't know about that personally. That's just my opinion. But let's say potentially more upside, but more risk and a lot more expense potentially. Let's see what they can do. Let's see. I think that when they get back after the tour, there'll probably be some more movement on this, probably some kind of offer going in for someone. But obviously, if they cannot pull Ollie Watkins away, would they turn to Šeško? Possibly. I still think there's one more idea in mind. And it could be not spending so much on a striker and spending a lot more somewhere else. It's been discussed. It's in the back of their minds. It's been looked at, not just at the back of their minds. Maybe that's wrong. It's been looked at and it's been considered seriously. And it is an alternative plan. It's just one more alternative plan. So we'll see. But I'll see if I get anything new on that tomorrow. Tomorrow, there's a big fan event at the Guinness Open Brewery before the game, tailgate. It'll be with Guinness, but actually I'll be on the guest list, whatever you want to call it, as part of the promotion with Flex KG. But officially, I'm a part of the event, so that'll be cool. So get out there to the Guinness Open Brewery over in Chicago if you're in the area. 11:30 to 3, I think. There's a bus going to the game afterwards. I think I'll be on that bus, I believe. I'll probably take the bus because it's a lot cheaper than buying Ubers everywhere. So I believe I'll be on that bus. But yes, and then the game, and then I'll be flying home, and it'll be back to business as usual, and we'll be damn close to the start of the Premier League season, just a couple weeks away. Okay, thanks for watching today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on. See you in the next one.